are up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. First time ever on patrol with Trooper Steve. So currently we're sitting out here in East Orange County because it's our inaugural day, and you're about to get a feedback here. Hold on. The inaugural Ride Along with Trooper Steve. So currently we are out here on the east side, like I said, and I wanted to come out here because first and foremost, this is a pretty busy area, but we've got a lot to cover before we do the main topic, 408, the east side. A few of you guys had sent this, but let's welcome you to the ride. So you are inside Results 1 right now. This is a results getting machine. Our partners with Gibson Truck World, our proud sponsors there, you know, we have been able to come together to continue this traffic mission that we've got going on. So riding guest with me today, I know he's incognito, but I do have our engineer Tyler in the car with me. He is making sure that everything is working just fine and well. Not a real camera guy, so I'm not going to even put it on because then he's going to get mad at me. And then everything's going to suddenly stop working, and we want to make sure that this stuff works. So how did this happen? Where did this even come from? Let's think about it for a second. What other news outlet in Central Florida, let alone the entire state of Florida, takes traffic safety as serious as News 6 does? Nobody. Look, they hired a trooper to be their traffic anchor. Kind of crazy stuff. So over the years, we've gotten to do so much amazing things, from Ask Trooper Steve, basic stuff, right? Questions that people think everyone knows the answers to, but they submit questions, and we get to answer that together at the end of the day. So I'm going to sound like I'm yelling, but I promise I'm not. We're just making sure that this mic is working and everything is working out all right. So then, of course, we doubled it, and then we started doing Ask Trooper Steve twice a week, getting those in. For almost 6 years, we have been answering traffic safety questions. Then, of course, we bumped it up to Ride Along with Trooper Steve, where you guys got to air your complaints with me, get out in the community, and then unfortunately COVID came, and that had to slow down a little bit. But What the Honk was born, right? But you guys know I love being in the community, love doing the hands-on stuff, so Results 1 was born. You know, having a law enforcement mind surrounded by a bunch of innovators in news, this idea was kind of created and born, and I love to drive, so what better than Results 1? So this vehicle is equipped with several different cameras, all live stream capability, so that you can see what's going on as it's going on all the time. And there will be new things that come to this car as the years come on and the results keep happening. So why are we doing this? Well, because we're putting what we talk about to the test. We talk about safety all the time. So let's go and show you the things that I'm complaining about, right? The speeders, the drivers who block intersections, the reckless driving, and or maybe the signage in a neighborhood that just looks weird. This is all about you guys, and that's something I think we need to remember, because if there wasn't a community, then who are we getting results for, right? So I say we start and go for a drive and see there. So we have front cam capabilities. I even can cut you to the back here. I'm hanging out in a parking lot at the moment, so I know a lot of people will be very like, oh, the driving. So hopefully the audio's good. Hopefully we're doing good. Testing everything here. I'm being told that the audio is not very good via a text message. So there will be several people part of this team and throughout this. So this is a big work in progress. We're going to work on this as time goes. So currently we are over on Lake Underhill, out on the east side over at Conway. We're going to make our way towards 408. What are we looking for today? So over the years, what have drivers complained about out on the east side? What have we seen? What kind of stories have we covered in this area? And unfortunately, if we're covering a story, it's not a good one, right? A lot of these crashes occur and out on Alafaya and East Orange County. They tend to be rather serious, if not fatal. Being a cop in news, though, what's the one thing I say, even on TV? Every crash is avoidable. Well, 99.99% of them, unless a meteor or an animal or something like that falls out of the sky or runs out of the bushes. But we're the driver. The car's not going to do anything in most cases that we don't want it to do. So when we're driving out there, these things can be prevented. So we're going to go out to these hot spots. One of the major ones, 408 and Alafaya. You guys remember a few months ago, Eric Von Aken did a story there, and out the exit ramp there at 408, and unfortunately it resulted in a fatal crash with someone going into the water. Just give me 1 second here. I'm told the audio is out. Yeah, it's coming across here. So hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm gonna move this a lot closer to my face. Like I said, this is day one, y'all. We got plenty of years to come to get this thing to perfection. So hopefully our producer back home is currently monitoring the audio for us. So I'm waiting for this light to go green. Here we go. Let's roll out. So simple stuff that we're going to get to see that normally most people would think is nothing, but you could get a ticket for. Like this Ford right in front of us just now. I had the green, so if my light's green, obviously theirs is not. You got to make that complete stop. I know it's redundant. I know sometimes it could be annoying when there's no one else out there. But when you get pulled over and they ask, hey, did you stop? And you say, well, no, I kinda. Well, what do you expect, right? So it's got to be, got to pay attention. We drive and we become so complacent because, well, it's a routine part of our day. We don't think about how dangerous it actually is. So we're eastbound Lake Underhill right now, running parallel with 408. City of Orlando, passing Santiago Avenue. If you guys are familiar, this is just west here of 436. And just like I was hoping this would happen, I do think we're going to roll up on a crash. There looks like there might be a crash up ahead, so we'll see what's going on. So it's pretty cool to have, who knows how many of you guys in the car with me, and no one's backseat driving, no one's talking about anything crazy. This is how driving should be all the time. So if you could see it in your screen, there's that Ford Fusion in the left lane next to me here. So heavy rear end damage, so obviously they've been involved in a crash recently, and that's okay, but you got to get those tail lights fixed, even if it's just some red clear they sell them at the audio store, at the not the audio store. We're having audio trouble, so that's on my mind. Any vehicle maintenance store, AutoZone, stuff like that. Just temporary. You got to have that. People need to know when you're stopping, so maybe that doesn't happen again. The fun part about this, I do think I can get away with a little bit more of what I could say here than what I say on broadcast. My engineer is shaking his head like, yes, you can. I'm going to have to take some pointers from Matt Austin. That guy has mastered what he can get away with on his podcast. Alright, so we are here at one of the... This is such a horrible intersection. I could say this about 20 of them. So we are at Lake Underhill and 436 Cimarron Boulevard. State designator is 436 for Cimarron. the Westgate building over at Central Florida Parkway and I Drive. If you've been here for a long time, you remember that the FHP station used to be where the Rooms to Go is on Colonial. One day we're going to figure out a way that all you guys can just back to me and I can sit here and have a chat box with you guys. Alright, we're going over 436. I thought I saw fire rescue responding to something over here. And this brings back memories. I used to come home from this area every day from the Florida Highway Patrol Station. Head this way, hop on the little entrance here. Not a lot of people know about this entrance and exit ramp on 408, which is nice because it makes it easy to hop on. So we're going to hop on 408 from Yucatan, head east to our area for the day, or for the next 20 minutes. Spend about 5-10 minutes over there, and there's an area I really want to talk about, especially an exit ramp that unfortunately has been the location of a few fatal crashes. You'll have some people that will blame the intersection and say more needs to be done, and then you have another group that say, well, you got to slow down before you start to exit, which I think both sides have a little bit of truth to it. So we're on 408 eastbound right now, hopping on from Yucatan, like I said. So when you're hopping onto the highway, teamwork makes the dream work. You see how it's not NASCAR. I'm not sitting here trying to win a race. Get on, turning signals, and glide over. I'm using the term glide. Why? Because it's got to be smooth. All this abrupt stuff that happens out here on the roadway, this is what, one, causes most of the crashes and ticks a lot of people off. So don't need that. We're eastbound, coming up on Goldenrod. So recently, as you know, it was a news story a few years ago. I think Senator Scott was the governor at the time, and they increased the speed limits out here along 408. Now, it is what it is, right? But the speeds out here, 55 to 60 mile an hour average. But I tell you, when I used to sit out here on the motorcycle, you'd get speeds well over 100 miles an hour for no reason. No reason. All right, so let's talk about this area. Why is this area so busy? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with who lives out in this area. I'm going to try to clip my mic one more time here. So you got to think it's extremely busy out on this side because you have all residential, Waterford Lakes, Avalon, Curry Ford, just the entire area out here. There's no tourist attraction. And then an incredibly large university. Mind you, with students who probably may not ever have lived out here on the east side. So to them, this is not home, it is school, and it's not the same. So the mentality is always a little different. We're going to merge on out, on over to the right travel lane. This area was under construction for a really, really long time. And you guys know I'm pretty critical with a lot of traffic plans. This was one of the best ones that we ever saw. When they expanded the northbound lanes of 417 through this area, it eliminated the traffic overnight. Mind you, the traffic plan took several years, but hey, kind of worth it. So we're approaching the area where a lot of people say a wall needs to be built. We're going to pull over, we're going to look at it, talk about it a little bit, and then I just want to quickly hit on what drivers need to be aware of when they're coming into the area. So obviously it dead ends into the Waterford Lakes Avalon area, so people need to be thinking about this. As you're exiting, you need to come off of the gas. I'm not saying you need to brake right away, but you got to stop treating this stuff like it's like second nature, because for most of you it's not. All right, we are gonna move. No, we'll stay here. I wish I could hear myself. shoddy. Surprisingly, we haven't encountered no reckless driving out here, at least this morning. A few speeders, but nothing nuts. What I like about results 1 is it is very similar to the height that my FHP Tahoe was, and you could see everything inside of a car. When I say everything, I mean everything. Like, people don't understand what happens when they put their head down. They don't think people can see that they're texting what's for dinner and all this other stuff. This is another pet peeve of mine. If you're going to choose to use the roadway, do the speed limit. At least. Technically, this would be impeding the flow of traffic just because if there were other traffic out here. Right now, you could not technically cite the driver until now. Why? Hit the fog line. Alright, this is the hot spot of the main concern of where we were coming out to talk. Took us a second to get out here. We're going to spend a quick moment on here and just talk about what we should be doing. Speed limit here is 65 miles an hour. Alright, that's the sign right there. It says 65. As you're exiting here, there is no sign change. Obviously, I'd say common sense would say slow it down, but for someone who just pay attention to the signage, to maintain 65 here is crazy. So this is where we've been seeing the issues. People come here, they don't slow down, and they continue. This intersection right here, and they go straight right into that traffic sign there. We're going to get turned around and pull off on the shoulder, and I'm going to show you exactly the area we're talking about here. I went to Waterford Elementary School when it was all portables. And this area, this road used to be 1 lane south, 1 lane north. The town center wasn't here. The only thing was the Winn-Dixie right over here in the corner. None of this. This was all cows. I make it sound like I'm really old, but I promise I'm not. At least I don't feel I am. But this shows this area has boomed so fast. So when we talk about boomtown, it's a real thing. And unfortunately, then the crashes increase. So we're going to get turned here. Actually, no, we're not. Because I'm not going to make a U-turn at a illegal U-turn spot. Got the rear cam turned on for you guys. Alright, we're going to try to pull a U-turn here. This is way bigger than my personal car. Alright, and the crowd goes wild. Trooper Steve just pulled a U-turn in this results 1 for the first time. Amen. And we're live, engineer's still good. Alright, so we're in Waterford Lakes right now, one of the busiest areas. This is that intersection we were talking about, 408. So this is the area that was addressed. So if you look at the far left side of your screen, that's the eastbound exit ramp from 408 to Alafaya Trail. This area has a 65 mile an hour speed limit on the highway. However, when you're exiting, there is no sign decreasing the speed. And I think this is an observation that we're all kind of making together. I did not know that that sign was like that. I thought that, hey, there would be a reduction in speed limit there, warning drivers. But This is where making sure that we are 100% focused comes into play. Whenever you're driving, being situationally aware is the key to all of it. When you can't just, people ask, Steve, like when you drive, what are you looking at? Well, I look 3 to 4 cars ahead of me, honestly. Why? Because that's the car that's going to affect the immediate traffic. So you've got to be looking, what's the other lane doing? What is this car doing? What is the car behind me doing? Things like that. So this wraps up our first, man, this would have been a nice spot to sit at here. Check this out. You can see it clearly. This, unfortunately, is the retention pond where someone did pass away and die from a fatal crash investigation several months ago, where Eric Von Aken did come out here. So those signs are the ones that people are saying that a wall needed to be put. But as we're sitting here, hundreds of drivers are going to pass through this area and not get into a collision. Could be thousands just today, and we may not even have a minor fender bender out here. So that goes back to drivers must be aware of what's happening all the time. So thank you for cutting on our first day here on Trooper Steve on patrol. It's all right, a little rocky start, but we're going to get this thing fully molded out and everything worked out right. Tomorrow is merging and how to merge. Where are the difficult spots? What should you be doing in order to properly merge? And if you've already been on the highway, what's happening or what you should be doing when other cars are merging. So I appreciate you guys for joining, and please drive safely. Make sure you stick around for the 9 a.m. show. We'll be there as well.